Oh wow, buckle in, get ready for fun and learning. This is a Homeschool Pop U.S. States video. In this video, we are learning about the state of Maryland. Yeah, the state of Maryland. Okay, this is exciting. So the first thing we're going to learn about Maryland is where it is. So if you ever want to visit, you'll know exactly where to go. Oh, we're going to find Maryland. Okay, here is the map of the United States, and we're going to find out exactly where Maryland is. So, where is it? Do you already know where Maryland is on the United States map? Yeah, Maryland is right here. Maryland is right here on the United States map in a region of the United States called the Mid-Atlantic. Cool. Now we're going to locate the places that border the state of Maryland. For example, bordering Maryland to the north is Pennsylvania. Then, bordering Maryland to the northeast is the state of Delaware. Then, bordering Maryland to the east is a big body of water called the Atlantic Ocean. Then, directly south of Maryland is Virginia. Then finally, bordering Maryland to the west and south is the state of West Virginia. Finally, right here in between Maryland and Virginia is Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is a very special place. Do you know why? Yeah, Washington, D.C. is the capital of the United States. To review, Maryland is right here on the United States map in a region of the United States called the Mid-Atlantic. Awesome. Now that we know exactly where Maryland is on the United States map, we are going to look at two nicknames of Maryland to learn even more about this wonderful state. The two nicknames of Maryland are the Old Line State and the Free State. The Old Line State and the Free State. First, why is Maryland called the Old Line State? That's an interesting nickname. How did Maryland get that nickname? There are two main ideas of where this came from. The first has to do with George Washington. George Washington himself, okay? The first president of the United States, the incredible general. George Washington is said to have called the Maryland soldiers the Old Line. This was during the Revolutionary War, and Maryland was the only state that had troops of the line, regular line troops. They had a reputation for being very brave and very strong in battle, so the idea was that George Washington called them the Old Line. That's the story. Do we know for sure? Not 100%, but the story is that George Washington called the soldiers the Old Line, and that's where the nickname Old Line State comes from. The origin of this name might be from before even the days of the Revolutionary War. You see, some people believe the name comes from the line that separated William Penn and Lord Baltimore's land. You can see it right here. It's the line that divides Pennsylvania and Maryland today. Is this where Maryland got the nickname the Old Line State? Maybe, or maybe they got the nickname from George Washington, but either way, Maryland is the Old Line State. Alright, so why is Maryland called the Free State? Aren't all of the states free? This nickname originates from a newspaper called the Baltimore Sun. You see, Hamilton Owens, the editor of the Baltimore Sun newspaper, would call Maryland the Free State in articles. There was some pressure from the federal government to make decisions that the state of Maryland was not comfortable with, and so they said no thank you. They said no. So the nickname the Free State was really big back then, and the name stuck. Having a good time so far? Awesome! We're going to learn even more about the old line state, the Free State, Maryland, by looking at the state flag. So here it is, the flag of the state of Maryland. In the upper left-hand corner and lower right-hand corner is a gold and black design that is the coat of arms from the Calvert family. The Calvert family was very important to the history of Maryland. You see, George Calvert was the first Baron of Baltimore. In the upper right-hand corner and lower left-hand corner of the Maryland flag is the coat of arms of the Crossland line, which is through Lord Baltimore's mother. This flag is very unique because it honors a very important family in the history of Maryland. Okay, now we are going to locate two major cities on the map of Maryland. The first city is this, Annapolis. Annapolis is the capital of Maryland. Then, a little further north is the city of Baltimore. Baltimore is the largest city in Maryland. Baltimore is also the second largest seaport in the mid-Atlantic. You can see that it's right near a harbor. Here is our final question. What is the state bird of Maryland? The state bird of Maryland is the Baltimore Oriole. The Baltimore Oriole is a small black bird that resembles the colors of the coat of arms of Lord Baltimore, remember? Of the Calvert family that make up the flag, that black and gold. They enjoy staying way high up in very leafy trees. But look out, they might visit your bird feeder. Thanks for watching this Homeschool Pop video on the state of Maryland, the old line state, the Free State.